Today we are going to be talking about the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Before we start, I would like you to take out a piece of paper and create a KWL chart, similar to this. In the first column, write what you already know about the Charter. This may be things like, what is a right? What is a freedom? Even if you've never heard of it before, is there anything you can figure out from just its name? In the second column, write down all the questions you still have, things you're curious about, and want to know. Now take a second to pause the video and fill out the first two columns. As we move through the rest of the lesson, the third column can be used to record any new information you have learned and answer the questions you posed in the middle column. So what is the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? The Charter is a piece of legislation that is part of a larger document known as the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of Canada and outlines how the country is to be governed. The Charter itself focuses on, you guessed it, the rights and freedoms of all Canadian citizens. But what are rights? And what are freedoms? Take a minute to jot down some thoughts. If your answers look something like this, you're right! The Charter protects all of these things and more. The Charter is broken down into 7 different categories. The first is fundamental freedoms. This includes things such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of peaceful assembly, and freedom of association. Next, the Charter sets out our democratic rights. Here is where we find the right to vote, as well as the ability to run in elections. This section also states that there must be an election every 5 years at minimum, although in practice, legislatures typically sit for 4 years. The Charter also gives us mobility rights. This means that all Canadians have the right to enter, remain in, or leave Canada. It also states that any permanent resident of Canada has the right to live and work in any of our provinces or territories. Next, the Charter sets out our legal rights. This section covers all interactions with the criminal justice system, including, but not limited to, interactions with the police, the RCMP, and within courts. These rights protect you from unreasonable search and seizure, as well as unlawful arrest. Upon arrest, they also ensure a fair trial and that a suspect is innocent until proven guilty. We also have equality rights. These may be some of the rights that you are more familiar with, and that Canada is most known for. These rights ensure that all people are treated the same and without discrimination regardless of age, race, nationality, gender, sexuality, and mental or physical disability. The Charter also states that Canadians are able to access government services in both of our official languages, English and French. Parliamentary proceedings can take place in either of the languages and will be broadcast in both, as well as all parliamentary documents are available in both languages and are as equally authoritative. Finally, we have minority language education rights. These state that parents have the right to educate their children in either of the official languages, even if they live in a province where their language is not the main language spoken. For example, English parents in Quebec have the right to educate their children in English, and French-speaking parents in Alberta have the right to educate their children in French. So what did we learn today? We learned that the Charter is part of a larger document called the Constitution, that the Charter protects the rights and freedoms of all Canadians, that the Charter can be broken down into 7 categories. These categories are fundamental freedoms, democratic rights, mobility rights, legal rights, equality rights, official language rights, and minority language education rights. Before we end this lesson, I want to leave you with one final question. In what ways does the Charter of Rights and Freedoms affect your everyday life? Take time to reflect on this and discuss it with the people in your lives.